Hey friends, thanks for joining me for the second part of my series on perfectionist mindset. Most of us are keenly aware that we have this perfectionist mindset, but not always. And there are different kinds of perfectionism. So some of us have that, we hold ourselves to a really high standard, which is great, right? But if you have that kind of perfectionist quality, that's often when you struggle to complete deadlines, to finish projects because you toil over every little thing. When I was in grad school, the first year I was in graduate school, I used to agonize over every assignment, every paper. I would read it and I would reread it and I would edit it and I would go away and I would come back and I would contemplate every word choice, every punctuation mark. And I finally realized I was spending a lot more time than I needed to be on each project. So if you're a procrastinator or if you're one who just struggles to get the work done, that's usually a sign that that is the level of perfectionist that you have. Another level is a self-critical perfectionist mindset, and I see that a lot with my weight loss clients. But it can show up in parenting, it can show up in relationships, it can show up in your career, and that's a mindset where you're often critical of yourself because you don't think you're good enough. And that can lead to a lot of negative thinking, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. And then the other kind of perfectionist mindset is when we're comparing ourselves to others, to other people's success, to other people's weight loss journey, to other people's fortune, to other people's career. And that can be really a burdensome thing. It can be an obstacle to your own success. So what does perfectionism cost us? Well, I think the obvious thing is it costs us time and energy. So if you're one of those that you're toiling over deadlines at work, over assignments at school, you're using a lot of time and energy that you know that you don't necessarily need to take, but you just kind of get caught in that. We only have a finite amount of time in a day. We only have a finite amount of time here on this earth. So we have to be judicious in how we choose to spend that time. But it can be really hard. Another consequence of this perfectionist mindset is that we often get trapped in this loop of negative thinking, and that's where I see with my clients in the weight loss world. Something will happen. We'll fall off track a little bit for the weekend, which creates a negative thought in our head, which creates a negative feeling, which then creates a negative action. And that action almost always reinforces that initial negative thinking, that initial negative thought. So you just get stuck in this loop, and it's really hard to break out of the loop. I just wrote an article last week about trying to help break the loop of that negative thinking, so I'll link that in the bottom for anyone that wants to check that out. But I mean, it's a real struggle. Another issue with this perfectionist mindset is that sometimes we get so much chaos, drama in our brains that it really can stifle our creativity. We have so many things going on at one time in our brain. Our conscious minds can only handle a certain amount of thoughts and feelings and actions, right? And so when we're trapped in all the stuff we've got to do, we're never going to get it done. Is it going to get done correctly? Is it going to live up to our standards? All this drama in our brain, it really can stifle creativity. And that's how we problem solve. We need that creativity. Some of you can probably relate to this. My most creative moments in the day are when I lay down to go to sleep at night, and in the morning when I start waking up, because our mind is more still, and that allows for the creativity to come through. So I mean, that's an issue I feel like with perfectionism. because when your creativity is stifled, it's really hard to problem solve. And so all of that contributes to one other big factor that is costing us, and that's inner peace. When our minds are so full of chaos and conflict, we can't have inner peace. That we can't have inner peace when we're feeling the stress, the hopelessness sometimes, the self-critical thinking. That takes away from our inner peace. And I mean, ultimately in life, that's what we all want, right? Is to have inner peace. So thanks for sticking with me. Next time, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about where this all comes from, because it's quite simple in some respects, but it can be complex too. So if you got some good information from this, please share it out. If you know you have an issue with perfectionism and you need some help breaking through it, go to my website, amyneibert.com, schedule a free 15-minute consult. I promise once we get through the diving a little deeper into where it comes from, I'm going to help give you some very relevant tips to help you start coaching yourself to living a life where you don't have to be perfect all the time. And that will ultimately give you inner peace. So thanks for tuning in. Much love, friends. Bye.